Election Commission has revised the overall voting percentage figure in Punjab, pegging it at 71.95%, around 72%. This is about 5 percentage points less than 2017. On Monday, the tentative polling figure, voter turnout figure was pegged around 66%, triggering a debate about what low polling may mean for the Aam Aadmi Party's performance in Punjab. Conventional belief has been that low polling figure suits the ruling party or the traditional parties that have a deep cadre base, because you have to bring people to the polling booth. High polling percentage is usually seen as a vote for a change. But if you analyze past elections, such conventional wisdom has been a bit misplaced. High or low voter turnout does not necessarily indicate anything like a vote for or against change. Of course, it comes very handy to political pundits when they sit down to analyze poll results later. I'm talking about the voter turnout in Punjab because everybody is reading in it something or the other in the context of the Aam Aadmi Party's performance in Punjab. What I'm going to talk about in this episode of Politically Correct is how the AAP's performance, whether it wins or it loses, will have a strong bearing on national politics. In this context, let me remind you of what Prime Minister Narendra Modi said at his Hardoi rally. It's about his allegation that some opposition parties, he named the SP and the Congress, like he said that they have been kind or sympathetic with terrorists. He was talking about how the SP government had withdrawn cases against people allegedly involved in terror-related cases. He also linked the SP's election symbol, cycle, with bomb blasts. That might be a bit unfair and over the top, but that's not the subject of my program today. I'm referring to the PM's speech in UP's Hardoi on Sunday to highlight how he also had his eye on Punjab when he was accusing opposition parties of being soft on terror. He referred to many terror attacks in the past, including a recent blast in a Ludhiana court. The reference to Ludhiana in his UP speech was interesting because he was speaking while polling was underway in Punjab, where the Aam Aadmi Party has created a lot of buzz in this election. In the run-up to the polls, if you go to Punjab, you hear a lot of people talking about the need for a change in Punjab this time. Many of them are pretty disillusioned with the traditional parties and now they are looking for a change. And this context of terror, what had happened in 2017, you may all remember, we had seen Arvind Kejriwal staying at a former, I think what organization was this, a former Sikh militant's house. He had stayed overnight. That had created a lot of controversy. Then you had seen a lot of people coming from Canada, plane loads of them, and they were perceived as people who had this basically extremist elements coming to support the AAP in the Punjab election 2017, and that had cost the Aam Aadmi Party quite dearly in 2017. It was reduced to 20 seats in the 117 member assembly, despite all the buzz that you had in 2017, and that is the context in which I'm referring to the Prime Minister's speech. But it's not a one-off kind of a reference to terrorism or basically on reference to what the opposition party's stand has been on terror. Look at the words and actions of top BJP leaders, right from the Prime Minister to Home Minister Amit Shah and others in the 48 hours leading to Modi's Hardoi speech. It's the AAP the BJP seem to be more worried about in Punjab this time. So on Friday, when the Prime Minister was addressing a rally in Aboha in Punjab, he had latched on to rebel AAP leader Kumar Vishwas's allegation against Arvind Kejriwal. Vishwas had claimed that Kejriwal supported separatist elements and even told him once that he would become the Prime Minister of an independent country. Now that was obviously over the top. Nonetheless, the Prime Minister latched on to it and warned the people of Punjab that the AAP could even align with separatists and anti-nationals. The same day on Friday, Amit Shah replied to Punjab CM Charanjit Singh Channi's letter about Vishwas's allegation and this separatist outfit, Sikhs for Justice, and their appeal to the people to vote for the Aam Aadmi Party. Now, how often do you see such a prompt response from the Home Minister to a missive from a Congress Chief Minister? So, the Amit Shah in his reply said that, the government will look into it and look into all the allegations, will probe it. So, that was on Friday. Now, incidentally, the National Investigation Agency, NIA, And I also named an SJF member as a suspect in the Ludhiana blast case. There was this blast in Ludhiana court a couple of months back. And on Sunday, while Modi was addressing the rally in Hardoi, Punjab BJP chief Ashwini Sharma's vote for Congress video was going viral. Sharma had purportedly said that, if the people did not want to vote for the BJP, they should vote for the Congress, not the AAP. Of course, the Sharma later denied, saying that his remark had been twisted. But if you talk about it, videos going viral, the Congress does not have that kind of infrastructure, social media infrastructure to actually make it viral. So it's the AAP, it's the BJP, which the parties which have been able to do that. So Sharma's video going viral on a day polling was underway in Punjab was very interesting. So we are talking about polling on Sunday actually, that was 2 days back. So why was the BJP going so paranoid about the AAP in Punjab? I mean, if I've just told you about all these remarks, actions of senior BJP leaders, even the government of India. So why was it so paranoid about the AAP? It didn't have much stake in Punjab as such, I mean, unless it's really hoping to get to a double-digit figure in the election and then expecting the Shiromani Akali Dal to get kind of enough seats for the two parties to kind of, come together again and form the government. Maybe if need be, you split some other party, you get some defectors and form the government, unless the BJP is hoping for that. This kind of aggressive stance against the AAP actually raised many questions. Basically, it's, the reason for this, why is the BJP doing it so obsessively, I would say. So, those privy to deliberations in the Sangh Parivar earlier told me that, the BJP was determined to stop the AAP in Punjab. One of them actually told me, like, if need be, we will transfer our votes to the Congress, the Hindu votes, but won't allow the AAP to come to power. One of the RSS functionaries were telling me the other day. I'm just saying it to you. I mean, I don't know about his claim, how serious this claim was, and whether it was done on the ground or not. But this was what Sangh functionaries were talking about. I mean, that must alarm the Aam Aadmi Party. I mean, it had paid a heavy price for its perceived dalliance with separatist elements in 2017 Punjab polls. I mean, that had alienated the Hindus. In fact, that has reduced the Aam Aadmi Party's figure so drastically in the 2017 election, when it was creating a lot of buzz. Anywhere you would go in Punjab in the last election, it was all about AAP, people with brooms, the jharu symbol. You would see people with this Aam Aadmi Party caps. This time it's not that much, but then again, this concerted bid by all these, entrenched parties, traditional parties like the BJP, Congress, Akali Dal, they have all been after AAP in this election. But, in 2017, the Congress was the main beneficiary. In fact, with the Hindu votes, went with the Congress, giving it a huge lead in the election. We don't know what is going to happen this time, regardless of what the RSS functionaries claim. 5 years later, in 2022, when the AAP was emerging as a choice of a large number of people in Punjab, I mean, yearning for a change from the traditional parties, Modi and Shah look determined to play a spoiler. I mean, if you ask BJP leaders about, why they are so much averse to the AAP in Punjab, usually they would tell you, that, they have security concerns in a border state. Some of them may even tell you that, if they are more candid, they will tell you that, look, I mean, we want to pull the AAP down in Punjab because a hung assembly would suit us, suit the BJP, which can then work on its expansion in that state under the president's rule. That will be another version coming from BJP leaders. Then of course they will tell you that if there is a hung assembly and the AAP Akali Dal manages a decent number of seats, say 35-40, BJP gets about 8-10, then there is a chance that with the help of some potential defectors, what they are looking at, they may probably go on to form the government. A very optimistic scenario, but well, I mean, that's what some of the BJP leaders are thinking. But the real worry, in fact, and why I am taking up this issue in this episode of Politically Correct, like talking about how there is a concerted attempt to kind of, paint AAP as kind of a party sympathetic with the separatist elements. The idea is again to kind of stop them there, because that has worked against the AAP in the last election, and there is this hope in the AAP's opposition camp, I would say, that probably this thing will work again. So the BJP leaders worry, in fact, more than the Congress. I mean, the BJP has, more worry about AAP's rise in Punjab. The real worry is about the impact outside Punjab if the AAP were to come to power in that state. Because, they are already in Delhi, but you basically treat the AAP as a city party today. They are just in Delhi. They get a full-fledged state. You have seen how Mamata Banerjee has been trying to, or was trying to kind of, make her party count in Goa election. And she was trying to get all the other regional leaders around her. She was trying to project herself as a contender, a third alternative. Kejriwal has been silent. If you have noticed, over the past couple of months, when everybody is talking about this, Mamata has been going around. Mamata has been calling up Stalin. You have seen how KCR met Uddhav Thackeray. So there is this, individual leaders are trying to project themselves as the possible third alternative, possible third phase. So they are first trying to bring a kind of cobble up a kind of anti-BJP, anti-Congress front, and then the leadership tussle would happen. But in all these discussions, you really find Kejriwal missing. But that will all change if AAP were to come to power in Punjab. That will give it another state. What the BJP won't want is the rise of what we call a Chota Modi. Chota Modi is what people describe Kejriwal as, because he has been trying to model himself, his politics on Modi's or the BJPs. So if on March the 10th when the results are out, if the AAP springs a surprise, it would really fire up Kejriwal, who can then project his party as a serious non-BJP, non-Congress alternative at the national level. The BJP knows that, even in 2019, despite Modi's popularity, 62% of the people had opted for an opposition party. They did not vote for the BJP. I won't say opposition party because there were other NDA partners also, but a majority of people had voted for an opposition party in 2019. That was despite Modi's popularity. So that's an area of concern, and the BJP won't really want the emergence of, as I said, a Chota Modi who could become a challenger in future. Not now, probably not in 2024, but later, whenever Modi decides to hang up his boots, by then probably Kejriwal's stature would be bigger at the national level and he would emerge as a challenger. And actually that explains to you the BJP's concerted bid to paint the AAP as a national security challenge in Punjab. They have to stop AAP there. They have to stop the AAP from moving beyond the Delhi borders. So could Kejriwal do a Modi to the BJP? If you recall, in the past, Modi turned the tables. Every time a Congress leader called him, say, a maut ka saudagar, as Sonia Gandhi had said, or a chaiwallah, as Mani Singh had said, or Rahul Gandhi's campaign, like Chaukidar Chor hai. Every time, Prime Minister Modi managed to turn the tables on the opposition. Could Kejriwal do the same? Because, see, polling happened on Sunday. Could he do that? Because he was going around telling people that, he was a sweet terrorist who has done this much, who has made 12,000 classrooms in Delhi, who has been doing so much in the health sector. So he calls himself a sweet terrorist. That was an attempt to kind of, paint himself as a victim, the way Modi would do in the past. Did that work on Sunday when polling happened? We don't know. So on the 10th of March, we would know whether Modi or the Chota Modi had the last laugh. The results would redefine India's politics. The AAP would either emerge as a potential third alternative at the national level, or probably if it loses, it will have to live with its status as a city party for a long time to come. Because if AAP has the best chance in Punjab, if it loses now, the momentum is gone, and then AAP won't really be able to recover. Even if it contests other states, that momentum will be gone. So for a long time, all this talk about a third alternative, AAP or any other party at a national level, those talks will be over. And if Kejriwal's national ambition takes a beating in Punjab, it would make the Congress more complacent. The Gandhis would then again start waiting for the people to realize their mistake of not voting for the Congress sooner or later. The Gandhis would then wait for the voters to repent and make amends. The BJP would love that scenario, of course. That's all from me in this episode of Politically Correct. Thanks for watching.